Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for Ramadan. It is the perfect time for spiritual growth and self-improvement. But I know that setting goals for Ramadan can sometimes be quite overwhelming. Well, fear not, my friend. In this video, I'm going to share with you some very cool tips that'll help you set goals for Ramadan that are actually achievable, and the entire process won't make you go crazy. So, let's do this! Salam, I'm Veronica Adali. I'm a revert to Islam, a founder of a modest activewear brand, a content creator, a wife, and a mom. I share my life and business journey as a Muslim woman living in New Zealand. My mission is simple: help Muslim women to embrace modesty and hijab while following their true passion. I create content to boost self-confidence, mindset, and lift your spirit so you can successfully balance faith, career, and motherhood. Subscribe for inspiration, motivation, and lots of laughter, all from a Muslim woman's perspective. Before we dive into this video, I really wanted to share with you my free ebook on how to embrace your natural beauty while wearing the hijab without relying on makeup. And with Ramadan, by the time this video goes up, the Ramadan probably would be already here, but it's the perfect time to give your skin a breather. It's the perfect time to let go of makeup and just see how you feel, because like I said, with Ramadan, it's the perfect time for self-improvement, and we should really be focusing on getting our prayers in and worshipping. And when you have makeup on, that process becomes so much harder, because in order for you to take wudu properly, you need to be barefaced. So why not give up makeup, at least for the month of Ramadan, and see how you feel, and make the entire process is so much easier for yourself. Anyways, the book will help you embrace your natural beauty without relying on makeup. And you will learn about the tips and techniques on how to radiate confidence from within. And it will help you feel beautiful without makeup, because you know very well that you are already beautiful and you don't need makeup to feel so. Anyways, the link is in the description. The book is completely free. It comes in 2 different formats to make it very easy for you to consume the information. You can download it either as a PDF or as an audio file. And if you're like me and you love audiobooks and you like to learn on the go, it's definitely for you. I got you covered. So if you are a Muslim hijabi woman, or if you just want to detach yourself from makeup and stop relying on makeup to feel beautiful, this book is definitely for you. Check it out. The link is in the description. So let's dive right into this video. Tip number 1, set smart goals. And what do I mean by smart? Specific, measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time-bound. Smart. So instead of saying, I want to become a Quran master by the end of Ramadan, you should be way more specific. I want to read 1 surah of Quran every single day by the end of Ramadan. See, that is way more achievable and way more measurable. And some of the surahs in the Quran are very long, so you can also break it down into however many pages you want to read every single day. That's also measurable. When you set goals that are smart, you can actually put together a plan of action, and you can actually focus on achieving those goals. When you set a goal, I want to do better this Ramadan, or want to be more spiritual, that's just way too vague. You can still set that goal, but you have to make it way more specific and time-bound. For example, in the previous years that I've set goals like I want to memorize 1 surah per week, so that by the end of Ramadan, I would have memorized 4 different surahs. And by setting those goals, I had a time frame for each surah that I wanted to learn. And then it was up to me to break the surah down into measurable chunks. That way, I felt so much more at ease knowing that the goals that I've set are actually achievable and I wasn't setting myself up for failure by being too vague or too overly ambitious. So, and by the end of that Ramadan, I was able to memorize 4 surahs. Back then, I was very new to goal setting and I was so eager to apply what I've learned in the business world into my real life. And it works. And it worked. Alhamdulillah. And at the end of Ramadan, we want to feel amazing. And when we set smart goals and we are actually able to achieve them, we feel great about ourselves. Even if the goals are not crazy ambitious, but they are still something that was set at the beginning of Ramadan and we managed to achieve them by the end of it. The feeling of accomplishment is absolutely amazing. I'll give you another example of a SMART goal that you can maybe put into your Ramadan goal list. What about committing to performing 2 extra voluntary rak'ah after each prayer? It's only 2 rak'ah. It only takes a few minutes. So this goal is definitely specific. It's measurable. Extra 2 rak'ahs after each prayer. Measurable, it's relevant, it helps us spend more time in worship, which we're encouraged to do so during Ramadan, and it's time-bound. We will be doing it for the rest of Ramadan, inshallah. There you go. You can apply the same logic to whatever goal that you set. Just make sure you are very specific, and then you'll be able to thank yourself later. The best thing about setting SMART goals is that you are actually able to hold yourself accountable and you can track your progress. And if you stick to it and you have systems and you are organized and committed, then by the end of Ramadan, inshallah, you will be able to achieve your goal. So let's make this Ramadan a productive and meaningful one and set amazing goals with our values and priorities in mind. That way, you will be able to set yourself up for success, inshallah. Tip number 2, prioritize your goals. Ramadan can be full on. There's a lot happening in the community and for us spiritually during this holy month. So let's be very clear and prioritize our goals. What are the top 3 or 4 things you want to achieve this month? Once you decide on those, make sure they are very aligned with your goals and values for this month. Something that will help you move further on your spiritual journey. When you prioritize your goal, you will actually be able to channel your energy towards achieving them. I know we all want to achieve 20 or 40 or 100 new things. We want to be super productive, but we also have to be realistic, because when we get too ambitious, we have too many goals and no clear plan, we end up achieving nothing because our brain is just all over the place. So as hard as it seems, I want you to pick 3, maximum 4 things you want to achieve this particular Ramadan and make them non-negotiables. And here's how you can do it in an organized, strategic manner. Number 1, reflect on your values and priorities. Take some time to think on what you need to work on specifically and what matters the most to you on your spiritual journey right now. Once you have a very clear vision of where you want to be by the end of the Ramadan and what you want to achieve, then it'll be easier for you to set those goals in the first place. Tip number 2, make a list of them. Here, at this stage of your prioritizing process, you can be as vague as you want to be. List them all. Then you pick the ones that you need to work on as soon as possible and make them your priority. And that's what I call ranking your goals from the most important to the least important. And then once you ranked your goals, you pick the first 3 or 4 and you make them your Ramadan goals. If you achieve more, that's great. Yay. But make those your non-negotiable goals and the goals that you are definitely focusing on this month of Ramadan. These are the goals that you make time for in your calendar. These are the goals that you work on every single day. These are your goals for Ramadan 2023. The 3 or 4 of them. So I'm going to give you some examples. So let's say your top 3 goals for Ramadan are to read more Quran, to give more to charity this Ramadan, and to spend more quality time with your friends and family. So if you want to get more reading Quran in, then you can wake up earlier so that you pray Fajr and have enough time to read the Quran. If you want to give more money to charity, you can always allocate a certain amount of money you put aside each week to give to charity. And when it comes to spending more time with friends and family, you need to look at your calendar. You need to get in touch with people who you haven't seen in a long time, the Taraweeh prayers, any other community events, any other volunteering events that you want to be a part of. Do your research, slot it in your calendar. These are your top 3 goals and they take priority. If you want to do other things, that's fine, but make sure you focus on those top 3 or 4 goals that you want to achieve this Ramadan and make sure that you put your time and energy into them. And that way you will actually be able to achieve them by the end of the month, inshallah. The next tip is break down your goals into measurable chunks. We've kind of touched on it a little bit with a few examples that I've given, but this is so important. Now that you have your goals, SMART goals, make sure you break them down into measurable chunks so that it's way less overwhelming for you to work on them. For example, if your goal is to read one surah of Ramadan every single day, now you need to break it down. How many pages you're going to read after your morning prayer, after your lunch prayer, maybe before iftar, if you have time then, or before going to bed. Break it down and allocate a certain amount of pages that you're going to read and allocate the times for it so that you're able to read one surah of Quran every single day. Of course, if the surah is really big, you can break it down over 2 or 3 or 4 days. It really depends. But you need to know how many pages you are reading when. Have a real plan, because when you break it down, that goal that was already quite achievable when you set it, now it becomes completely attainable and something that you know you can do. For example, if your goal is to improve your health and fitness during Ramadan, trust me, that's a very good goal. So instead of trying to work out for an hour every day, which is something that a lot of us struggle to do when we're not fasting, and when you put all of that pressure on yourself to do that, why don't you break it down? Why don't you start your day with a 10-minute stretch, which is low impact, and it'll make you feel good at the beginning of the day. And then you can follow up with a quick walk, a 20-minute walk around the block at lunchtime. While everybody at work or at studio having their lunch, why don't you get up and go for a walk? And before going to bed, after iftar, maybe an hour after iftar, you can do a 20-minute low-impact workout. That way, you are actually getting your 1 hour of exercising, but you're breaking it down, you're making it manageable, and you're also moving throughout the day. And that's great. So by breaking your goals down into manageable chunks, it doesn't only help you with feeling less overwhelmed, but you might actually enjoy achieving your goal and working on achieving your goal rather than stressing out that, oh, it's been, half of Ramadan is gone and I'm not where I want to be. You might actually enjoy the process of working on your goals a little bit more. So, which brings me to tip number 3. And once again, we kind of touched on it in the examples, but create a schedule for yourself. You have your goals, they are manageable, you know what you need to do. Now you need to physically take those tasks and slot them into your calendar. You might have to adjust your routine while you are fasting. You might have to reshuffle your regular schedule. So you need to look at your day and slot your goals, the time you spend working on your goals, into your calendar. I use Google Calendar. I love it. I can access it on my laptop. I can access it on my phone. You can use a journal. You can use a notepad. You can use whatever works for you. You can put your schedule on your fridge. Honestly, do whatever works for you. You know what works for you. So do that, but make sure you actually look at your day and slot in your goals into your day. That way you will have clarity and set a clear intention to actually work on your goals. And we know in Islam, it's so important to set that intention. And once it's in your calendar, you kind of feel compelled to work on them. Or is it just me? I think when I put things into my calendar, I get into this competition with myself. It's me versus me. I really want to take everything off. So back when I was still so new to goal setting, I would constantly overbook myself and be way too ambitious with what I want to achieve. Now I've grown past that and I only focus kind of on 3 main things I want to achieve during the day. And it made me feel great about myself. So please apply that tactic as well. And it's really good because if you have 3 or 4 goals that you really want to work on this Ramadan and you've prioritized them and you broke it down, then you only need to put in 3 or 4 things that you need to achieve during the day that will help you with your spiritual growth, inshallah. So it's a great system. And you know what? I actually put together a little fun example of a schedule, Ramadan schedule that is completely random, but I'm going to insert it on the screen so you can have a look at the example of how you can break your day down and actually follow the schedule and work on your goals. And inshallah, achieve them by the end of Ramadan. This is just an example, and I know that everyone's schedule will look completely different depending on where you work, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are a student. Your schedule will be different, but the idea and the principle remains the same. You block your time for certain things, and that way you get clarity, and you are able to show up and inshallah achieve your goals. This is the way for you to ensure that you have the time to do everything, to do your life and to work on your Ramadan goals, inshallah. So, let's talk about time management. I know we are all busy people. We have work, we have kids, we have studies, we have other commitments that are specific to us, and we have Ramadan, and we have personal goals that we want to achieve. What do we do? Can we do it all? Yes, we can. You have to learn to manage your time, and you have to be very honest with yourself. You might want to allocate 20 minutes for reading, and you think, I think I can do that. But if you know you're a slow reader, like me, maybe you should allocate 30 minutes just to be sure. Make sure you don't overbook yourself and allow some contingency between your commitments. Like, I know, we get really excited. When I first learned how to use Google Calendar, I would be like, boom, this color goes for this part of my life. And I would book everything up back to back. And then something happens during the day and my entire schedule goes out of the window and I have to reshuffle and rejuggle. And because I haven't allowed enough room for shuffling and different things that happen during the day that force my circumstances to change for that day, I get stressed, I get overwhelmed, I'd feel like I am useless and I don't know how to do this and I will never be able to achieve my goals. And I just spiral down and it's not pretty. It's just not pretty at all. So be honest with yourself. Trust me, less is more. And when you're managing your time, less is more. It's better to achieve the core things you want to achieve rather than be in this like hyper productive mode. Remember, you're fasting, you're not drinking, you're not eating. You might have a brain fog in the first few days of Ramadan. I know I always do. Be kind to yourself and manage your time wisely. Just start small, and then if you feel like that schedule is easy for you and you're smashing through it, you can make it a little bit more challenging. You can add another thing in, but nothing is worse than overbooking yourself and then like feeling you're completely inadequate and you can't do it and you are just not a good Muslim. Like, astaghfirullah, we are all trying and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward our struggle, inshallah. Just start small. You can always build up on a good foundation once you get into the groove of things. So manage your time wisely, I beg of you. And here's my final tip. Self-care during Ramadan. Trust me, it's as important as ever. You need to take care of your mind, body, and soul to make sure you have all the energy you need while fasting to work on achieving your spiritual goals. So here are a couple of examples of self-care that you can practice during the month of Ramadan. Make sure you prioritize your sleep. Even though it might be tempting to stay up and hang out with your family, but just make sure you don't do it at the expense of your sleep, because sometimes when you don't go to bed on time, you have trouble waking up for suhoor, which is before Fajr, which is even earlier, and Fajr is very early. You might miss it, and then you won't have enough energy or hydration to sustain you throughout the day. Like, it's not worth it. You are fasting. You're using your energy doing your day-to-day life while fasting. You need your sleep. You need to let your body recover. So after Taraweeh, go to bed. Go to bed, rest up so that you are able to wake up and do it all over again. And do it with a smile on your face, inshallah. Another self-care example would be nourishing your body. Eating food that will actually give you good quality energy. The protein, the veggies, lots of hydration. You can even add some electrolytes there. I love my coconut water. So just make sure you put good fuel in your body so that you have good energy and you feel good about yourself while fasting. And take breaks when you need them. Trust me, it's okay to take a break or to plan for a break, even if you are a very, very ambitious goal setter and a goal slayer. And don't forget to practice mindfulness and relaxation. Like stretching at the beginning of the day would be a great way to relax and to switch off and to get your body moving and to set a positive tone for the rest of your day. I know achieving Ramadan goals is very, very important, and we needed to move further in our spiritual journey, of course, but it has to be done right. We need to take care of ourselves so that we are able to show up and achieve our goals, inshallah. When we feel good and our brain is working and we feel excited, we're able to do more in less time. And when our brain works, we can memorize those surahs just like that. If we follow all of those tips, and we are very good and smart at setting our smart goals, we are able to have a very productive and healthy and fulfilling and rewarding Ramadan, inshallah. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and for spending time with me. If you have any other tips when it comes to goal setting during the month of Ramadan, make sure you leave them in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please sure to subscribe now. For the entire month of Ramadan, I will be posting Ramadan related content. And if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, and I'll catch you later.